Sometimes one punch changes history. But this time, words were stronger than fists. He wasn't just fighting. He was speaking. A story that began inside the ring and reached the heart of humanity. Muhammad Ali, the man who won not with fists, but with spirit.
In January 1942, in the snow-covered city of Louisville, Kentucky, a boy was born. His name was Cassius Marcellus Clay. No one knew that this child would one day shake the world. His family was humble, but life was hard. His father was a painter, his mother a housekeeper. Both sensed that their son was different, yet the world around them was unjust. The laws of society seemed written for a privileged few. Cassius grew up on the streets, but his spirit refused to stay there. From an early age, he learned the meaning of strength, not just with fists, but with pride. When his bicycle was stolen, he took it as a lesson. At the police station, he met trainer Joe Martin, who told him, "If you want to hit the man who stole your bike, you'd better learn to fight." That sentence changed his destiny. He trained tirelessly, shaping not just his body, but his soul. Boxing for him became more than a sport. It was justice, redemption, and proof of existence. Sometimes he'd look in the mirror and whisper, "One day the whole world will know who I am." In those early years, he lit a spark of faith within himself, a flame that would burn for a lifetime.
Olympic glory.
Young Cassius was one of the most energetic and determined kids in his city. He trained day and night, sweating, pushing, as if fighting fate itself. In 1956, he won his first amateur championship. But this was just the beginning. Every move he made carried rhythm. His punches felt like music. Cassius didn't just fight, he spoke, joked, taunted, and rhymed. "I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee." It wasn't arrogance, it was philosophy. At the 1960 Rome Olympics, he radiated youthful confidence and energy. When he won gold, he wasn't just an athlete, he was a symbol of possibility. But when he returned home, he met a different reality: segregation, humiliation, exclusion. The legend says that after being refused service at a restaurant because of his skin color, he threw his gold medal into the river. It was a quiet yet thunderous protest. From that moment, Cassius Clay was no longer just a boxer. He was part of something greater, a movement, an awakening. His victories were no longer about trophies, they were about dignity.
A new name.
1964, a year that changed everything. Cassius Clay defeated the terrifying Sonny Liston to become the heavyweight champion of the world. But that night, something far greater happened. Standing before the microphones, he declared, "I am not Cassius Clay. That's my slave name. My name is Muhammad Ali." The world trembled. His conversion to Islam and his friendship with Malcolm X turned him into a revolutionary figure. Some praised him, others hated him. TV networks refused to say his new name, but the people embraced it. For Ali, it wasn't just about religion. It was about freedom. He believed that a man's faith could liberate his soul. "I'm not just fighting in the ring," he said. "I'm fighting for truth." Cassius Clay died that night, and Muhammad Ali was born. Not just a man, but an idea.
Resistance.
Ali had found his voice, and it echoed far beyond boxing. Every interview, every speech carried wisdom and fire. He told young people not just to fight, but to walk with dignity. But that voice disturbed the establishment. When the U.S. called him to serve in the Vietnam War, he refused. "Why should I kill other people when my own people aren't free?" Those words shook America's conscience. He was stripped of his title, banned from boxing, and threatened with prison. But he never wavered. "My conscience won't let me kill," he said. "I will obey God, not men." He became a global symbol of courage. "Courage," he once said, "is not the absence of fear, it's standing up despite it." By then, Ali was more than an athlete. He was a prophet of resistance, a fighter for the human soul.
The unsilent soul.
3 years, a long, quiet exile. Yet even away from the ring, Ali's presence couldn't be silenced. He toured universities, spoke about faith, justice, and the dignity of Black America. To some, he was a traitor, to others, a prophet. But Ali understood that silence can sometimes be the loudest voice. During those years, he studied the Quran and philosophy. His words began to transcend sport. "My enemy is not people," he said, "it's ignorance." He realized justice begins within, not in institutions. People started to see him not as a rebel, but as a teacher. "He who remains silent before injustice," he said, "stands with the oppressor." Through stillness, Ali found depth. He learned that patience could also be a weapon. These years forged his true maturity, the wisdom of a man who had lost everything, but kept his soul.
The return.
In 1970, Ali made his comeback. But this was more than a sporting return. It was a spiritual resurrection. People came not to watch him fight, but to witness his faith in action. The rumble in the jungle in Zaire became one of the greatest moments in sports history. His opponent, George Foreman, was young, strong, and unstoppable. The world believed Ali was finished, but he had a plan. Using his rope-a-dope strategy, he let Foreman exhaust himself, then struck back with brilliance. As Foreman fell, Ali shouted, "Allahu Akbar!" It wasn't just a victory, it was revelation. He showed the world that the mind could conquer muscle and faith could defeat fear. That night in Africa, under the dark sky and the roar of millions chanting, "Ali Bumai," a man became immortal.
Glory and pain.
Ali was once again the champion, but glory now felt different. Fame and wealth couldn't hide his fatigue. He began to reflect on the meaning of life beyond victory. His trilogy with Joe Frazier became legend. Pure physical and emotional warfare. The Thrilla in Manila was their final encounter, a brutal dance of survival. After the fight, Ali said, "It was the closest thing to dying that I've ever known." Yet he still won. But now time was his toughest opponent. His body slowed, but his spirit soared. In interviews, he spoke with the calm of a philosopher. "The service you do for others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." Behind the legend was a man who learned humility, who smiled through exhaustion. The fighter had become a teacher.
The silent champion.
In 1981, Ali entered the ring for the last time. His hands were slower, but his eyes still burned with defiance. Soon after, doctors diagnosed him with Parkinson's disease. Many thought his era had ended, but for Ali it was just a new kind of battle. He no longer spoke with words, but with gestures, with presence. Every trembling movement carried meaning, the greatness of spirit over flesh. At the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, when he lit the torch with shaking hands, the entire world cried. He had turned silence into power. In his later years, he became an ambassador of peace and compassion, working for the poor and for children. Muhammad Ali was no longer just a sportsman. He was the conscience of humanity. He taught the world that weakness can still carry strength, and silence can still speak loudly.
The eternal voice.
In 2016, at age 74, Muhammad Ali passed away. But his name, his spirit, his voice still live on. He isn't just part of boxing history, he's part of human history. He showed that true heroism isn't the absence of fear, it's facing it with grace. He inspired millions. Children, dreamers, the oppressed, and the brave. His life was a school of faith, resilience, and compassion. "Life is not worth living unless you're willing to take risks," he said. He took those risks and became eternal. Today, his name is bigger than any ring. It's carved into the heart of humanity. Because Muhammad Ali didn't just fight, he spoke. And even now he's still speaking. His voice still echoes. Through time, through silence, through every soul that dares to rise.
Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and leave a comment.